Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. So, it's very natural for a philosopher or for even a layman, even when the common sense peaks, even then, even the person who has the best common sense, even the best philosophers, the best laymen, it is natural for them to think that the matter must have emerged from matter. Bas. It's very difficult to presume. And whenever you presume something, it will leave behind 1,000 doubts. Therefore, presumption is of no use. Assumption is of no use because it leaves behind doubts. It's not beneficial. Therefore, every individual in God's creation is wont to. It's natural for him to. Is likely to infer that this matter must have come from matter. What are the scientists doing? They are only trying to find out what triggered the creation of matter. There must have been some basic matter, basic stuff. So even when the scientists really look into the cause of the universe, the event that triggered as well as the stuff out of which the universe was created, they think in terms of some event. And also they think of some basic inert stuff. Therefore even a scientist is supposed to be the cream of the society. Well, even he thinks only in terms of the inert being the stuff for the inert, whereas the Shastra says that's a contradiction. Shastra says when I use the word matter, I mean the entire matter including the potentiality of matter. Including even the unmanifest matter, the potentiality of matter, to be covered. When I say tree, I include the seed, bas. Tree, seed is the tree. It is in the unmanifest state. Therefore, because if manifest matter is not my answer, the unmanifest matter also is not going to be my answer. Therefore, the Shruti says it is necessary to begin life on the note that the source of the visible creation is consciousness. If the source of the visible creation is consciousness, then that consciousness, I become likely to move back to myself. The connotation of the word consciousness doesn't allow me to go out. It's amazing how the words can determine my movement. Words, language can control my movement. Language can control, the connotations of the language can control my movement. even though there is no fecal matter, the moment I use the word fecal matter, you all get jitters. Be careful. The language makes me respond. The words make me respond. Somebody calls me a fool, but it is just a sound, nothing. But I respond. I respond. And therefore, it is better that the life begins on the note that the source of the whole universe is consciousness. If consciousness is the source of the whole universe, then the only source of consciousness is oneself. There is nothing else. There is no other source. The one who is there is no I look at a mountain. Mountain is not a source of it. The one who is aware of it, consciousness, is the source of consciousness. Therefore, the moment I dwell on the meaning of the word consciousness and the meaning of it, there is something, that word itself moves me back to myself. My belief that God is in heaven makes me move in a different direction. Yes, the language controls my thinking. The language controls my thinking. That is why when you are living with people, you must control your language. When you are talking to the people, control your language, otherwise it creates problems. That's what is called sabhyata. Sabhyata means parliamentary interaction. Nice interaction. Aye, aap aaye, etc., etc. There is something nice about language. Can comfort you, language can make you uncomfortable. But language can do much more than just comforting you and making you feel uncomfortable. The language can even move you towards the truth. Therefore, in all our prayers, truth is always visualized as a unqualified conscious being. Yes. Even when we look upon Bhagavan Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, I tell you fundamentally it's conscious. Body is an upadhi. It is conscious. Therefore, the present sutra, the present topic is to tell that the source of the universe is Ishvara, who is Chetanam, not matter. Neither there is no event that triggered the universe. If you do arrive at an event that triggered something, we say that event was a part of creation that was already there. Event can't trigger a creation, event is a detail in the creation. Evolution is a detail in the creation. We don't reject science. We put the entire scientific findings inside creation. We don't reject scientific findings. That's wrong. It is pramana siddham. We don't reject a scientific finding that the earth has gravitation. And that's meaningless. Vedanta doesn't take a stand against science. Vedanta talks something which the science doesn't talk about. Therefore here, there is no difference of opinion between science and Vedanta, please. No, there can't be. There can't be a difference of opinion between the ear and the eye. Their fields are different. Their topics are different. Neither science can oppose Vedanta, nor Vedanta can oppose science. Why? Because their topics are different. What more logic you want? Their topics are different. Karma Kanda can't oppose Vedanta, nor Vedanta can oppose Karma Kanda. Vedanta opposes human thinking, human beliefs. Vedanta questions human expectations. Going through a limited pleasure and expecting the unlimited, it questions. ये क्या बात है जी? All that you have is the limited pleasure. मट्ठा पीते हैं, उससे मोक्ष मांगते हैं, ये क्या तरीका है? एक ग्लास मट्ठा लेते हैं, मोक्ष चाहिए. You give a small flower to Bhagavan and say, मुझे मुक्ति दे दो. To give something solid. Say for flower you will get something, some sukha मिलेंगे जी. Therefore moksha is, say, if a moksha is eternal, the Shruti says, then nobody can give you, nobody need give you, it must be already with you, better recognize. This is how the Vedanta opposes man's thinking. It doesn't oppose pratyaksha. It doesn't oppose karma kanda pramana. Vedanta doesn't oppose any pramana. Vedanta opposes human thinking that stems from the ignorance about the truth, please. It opposes the conclusions rising from self-ignorance. I am limited, it questions. I am deha, it questions. Because that I am deha is not pramana siddham, it is avidya kalpitam. Yes. Pratyaksha pramana cannot illumine the idea that I am the body. Pratyaksha pramana only illumines the form. Sound, taste, touch, smell. Perceptions are different from conclusions. Identification. I am a form is not born of pratyaksha pramana. Therefore, Vedanta doesn't really question the pratyaksha pramana or any pramana. One pramana doesn't question another pramana. I'm being technical, This is an opportunity for you to understand the beauty of this whole Shastra. It is a pramana. Once we say it is a pramanam, it's not my creation. It is Ishvara's. It is a part of creation. It's not authored. Sight we use, we don't author. Ears, hearing, the capacity to hear. Our faculties, we don't author our mind, we use it. We don't author the faculty of inference, we use it, that's all. Similarly, the Karma Kanda, which talks about, my dear, this is not the first and the last life, the jiva travels in this world, therefore, don't be irresponsible, do right action so that they can help you in future. Wherever you go, they will help you. Don't think of only today and tomorrow. As a jiva, you are always there until you come to know yourself, the truth. There is no other way. You will always travel. And travel without ticket. And when you travel to heaven, you always go with a return ticket. This is what Amara Guruji used to say. You always go to heaven with a return ticket. Then between ticket to heaven and return ticket, first they buy return ticket. First you are given the return ticket and the ticket to heaven. Therefore, don't think of tomorrow, just live in the present is not a part of Vedic culture. Understand the present, not just merely think of only today and live and die. Aisa nahi. Think of tomorrow too. Think of this life. Think of the problem. Think of the unending life, unending existence in this life and beyond. You can't program your life only for today, till it is all modern sluggishness born theories. Yes. We say don't worry about the future, but program the future. Think of the future. You don't have to worry about the future. There lies the wisdom. There lies the wisdom. You plan for the future without worrying. To think of the future and then worrying is not a great, we don't have to be greatly talented for that. But the talent lies, program the future. Plan for this future. Future includes this life and next life and next life and next life and next life until I understand the truth. And the planning that future is nothing but doing the right actions in the present. Keep on doing the right actions in the present. Take care of the present, the future will take care of itself. But don't conclude there is no future. There is. Okay, thus, fell down. Okay. One pramana doesn't contradict another pramana. This is clear. Karmakanda is true, Pratyaksha is true, Vedanta is true, Anumana is true. Then what is not true? My thinking. My thinking is wrong. My thinking about myself is wrong. That I am a form is wrong. And this is not opposed by Karmakanda. This is opposed only by Vedanta. That I am the form is not opposed by Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha doesn't talk about my errors. If I say I am the form, my eyes and ears don't come and tell me, don't think like that. You are not the form. Karmakanda doesn't say. Neither they say yes, no, because that is not the topic. If that is not your topic, you can't say yes or no. Pratyaksha doesn't come and make a comment about my idea that I am the form. Karmakanda doesn't make a comment about my idea that I am a form. It says, if you think you are a form, all right, as long as you think you are a form, you want objects, all right, I will tell you how to get them. How to get sukha within the avidya. So Pratyaksha, Karmakanda doesn't question my view about myself. Pratyaksha doesn't question my view about myself. And Anumana Pramana also doesn't question my view. It can't. It's not its topic. Vedanta comes and questions. Hey, your view of yourself is wrong. You are not non-eternal, you are eternal, you are not the form, you are unlimited. You are not limited, but you are unlimited. You are not a jiva, but you are Brahman. You are not a created thing, you are the source. Is prakar. And therefore, Vedanta doesn't contradict science or scientists. You don't have to say Vedanta versus science. No. You can say Vedanta and science. Not Vedanta versus science. Which means Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai. Ikshaterna Shabdam हाँ बताइए। ईक्षते न अशब्दम। हाँ जी, संस्कृत बोलने से पाप नष्ट होता है। पाप नष्ट होने से वैराग्य मिलता है। वैराग्य मिलने से रमण केंद्र आते हैं। रमण केंद्र आने से थोड़ा कैन हियर सम शास्त्र। इतना भी आसान नहीं है। The Shruti says, sir, the source of the universe is Ishvara, Chetanam. Why? Ikshate. Because the source saw and created. Iksha means to see. Ikshanam, Nirikshanam, Samikshanam, Parikshanam. You understand, you know? Sarvekshanam, Ikshanam. Ikshanam means see. They saw the source. Had the source been, if the source were matter, it can't see and create. If it were inert matter, it can't see and create. It can't see. And therefore, if the source saw and created, then seeing is the job of a conscious being. Now right here, add one point. Not that the source decided to see, the source saw. The source saw means it was its nature. The sun illumined. What does it mean? The sun illumines. Does it decide to illumine or is its nature? Simple present tense or simple past tense. The past can be reduced to the present and the present can be interpreted in the sense of nature, and that is allowed by grammar. Saw, sees. Therefore, the source did not decide to see, the source saw, means it was his nature. Therefore, we cannot interpret the source in the sense of matter, because perhaps matter may develop accidentally some little quality of sentiency for a little while saw. This whole interpretation can come, but matter can never develop the quality of seeing. Matter can never feel. Matter can never feel. If matter can feel, then it should not be felt, because the one who feels should not be felt, should not be an object. The seer cannot be the form. Form is always seen, the form doesn't see. Very big thing here, very big thing if you take it seriously. The whole universe is seen, the universe doesn't see. The universe doesn't see. It's lifeless. Yes. And the one who sees it is not a form. Our identity is that. Our identity is that seer. Anyway, the source of the universe saw. Because the source saw and created, we come to two things. One is it was his nature. It is the nature of the source to be consciousness. If it is the nature, then it is not a quality. A quality can change, nature can't change. ये इसको अच्छी तरह से dwell करना पड़ेंगे. Because Human beings hardly discern between quality and nature and self. They are so casual about things. They are serious only about aloo ka paratha. When aloo ka paratha is made at home, you are very serious. Kya hone wala hai aaj? Etc. We are casual about the essentials in life. We are casual. What can we do about it? That's how we the jivas are. We don't have to run ourselves down, but we can just see what we can happily look at our problems. It is the Shastra which shakes us, which shakes our mind and says, my God, my dear, you have quality can change. For example, a mango is khatta now. To begin with, it is kadva. Then it changes its quality and becomes khatta. And the quality changes and becomes mita. Like this, the quality can change, attributes can change. But the nature of being visible to the form, it is available, the mango is available, I can see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. That it is an object of my senses, that it is inert. Can it change? That is its nature. Inertness is the nature. Therefore, the only nature of the objects is inert. It is Vishaya, it's an object. And everything else changes. You look at a tree, it changes. Today it's a plant, it changes. It becomes a tree, then it changes. But that it is available for, that is the fundamental nature, nothing else. That it can be seen, heard, taste, touched, smelled. It is a sense object, that's all. It is objectifiable. That is its nature. There is no second nature. Therefore, the entire universe has only one common nature, and that is, it is objectifiable. I am telling you, the waking universe and the dream, what is the difference? Nature is to ek hi hai. The dream world is objectifiable. The waking world also is objectifiable. Therefore, what is the difference between the nature of the waking world and the nature of the dream world? Kya hai? What is great? If you are a bulldozer in your thinking, there is no difference. Kya hai? Both are objective. Drishyatvat. Shankaracharya's Guruji says, Karikakara says, that dono ek hi hai drishyatvat. Both are visible. It is temporary and that is permanent if you say. I say, temporariness may change, permanence may change. You see, the dream is time bound, the waking also is time bound anyway. The waking is time bound, the dream also is time bound. The dream resolves, the waking also resolves in sleep. It's not eternal. Anyway, even if we accept in the length of time there is a change, it's not, just for the time being, granting that the length of appearance changes, so what? Their nature doesn't change. Their nature doesn't change. Therefore, sometimes, dream is still greater than the waking because it haunts me in the waking. But the waking doesn't haunt me in the dream. Which is more fragile, ji? Waking or a dream? You said it. Yes. Which is more fragile? The dream can haunt you, not the waking. Therefore, I want you to understand the difference between quality and nature. The source of the universe has no changeable qualities, whereas the source of the universe has an unchanging nature. His nature of being a seer, the nature of his being conscious, the nature of being conscious doesn't change, because the nature doesn't change. Nature doesn't change. Nature doesn't change. Nature should not change. Nature cannot change. Nature does not change. Therefore, I am going to explain this sutra. Please just listen to it. The source of the universe by nature was the seer, and he saw and he created. The source saw and created. That means what? The very seeing is the creation. The very seeing is creation. Why? Because any effort would still be a part of creation. Effort is not a part of seeing. The nature of the source is only seeing, not making effort. Effort is always a part of creation. Therefore, it is not possible to interpret that God thought and created, God remembered and created, God planned and created, God willed and created. Even if these words are used somewhere in the Shastra, it all means He saw and created. And the next sentence is, seeing is creation. Seeing is. In order to create something, you see that something was. We see the dream, and that is creation. In addition to seeing the dream, what else do we do? In addition to seeing the dream, what do we do? Inside the dream we may run around. That's not seeing. That is being seen. I am seeing my going around. Therefore, I see the objects, I see my own body, and I see my movements, I see my pleasures and pains, I see my likes and dislikes, I see everything. Beyond seeing, I don't do anything for creating a dream. What about willing? I say willing also is a part of creation, not seeing. Willing is not seeing. Willing is also an effort. You deliberately do it. When you do an action, then you use your will. Let me go to Ramanakir, that is willing. चलो आज संडे है, थोड़ा घूम के आएंगे, रास्ता में सागर तो है ही, नाश्ता भी करेंगे वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. If you are very enterprising. If you are not so enterprising, सीधा घर जाओ, घर में उपमा खाओ, आराम से सो. Abiding souls, just go back home. The enterprising go around. This is called willing. Let me do this, let me do that, let me go here, let me go. These are all willing. But God doesn't think like that. God is a mere sight. True, the source is a mere sight. Ikshate. Therefore, now I have explained one thing. He saw means that it is his nature to see. Number one. He saw and created means, in fact, seeing is creation. Because beyond seeing the waking state, what do? We are fast asleep and then we see. In addition to seeing, what do we do? In addition to seeing the universe, in addition to seeing the body, in addition to seeing, is there anything else to create? Very serious matter. Listen to it very well. Because in fundamental creation, there is nothing is done except see. I just see. Waking up means what? I see. I see the world, I see. Hear, taste, I see. What is a dream? I see. That's creation. When the universe becomes unmanifest. I don't see the universe. But then I continue to be the seer. I continue to be the seer minus the form. The form's absence creates in me the bhranti that there is no seeing also. When there is no form, supposing I say there is a pumpkin on my head. Is there a pumpkin on my head? How do you put it? I don't see. So the negative you are associating with see. I don't see. I don't see is wrong. I see. There is no pumpkin. That is Shastra. Man says I don't see. Shastra says no. You see that there is no. That is the difference between man's language and Shastra's language. I don't see anything in the deep sleep state. Shastra says no. You see that there is nothing. There is continuity of sight, but no. There is continuity of experience, but there is no continuity of the forms. Forms become unmanifest. Like when thought manifests, you see it. When thought becomes unmanifest, you don't see it, or you see that there is no thought. See, it is not possible for the sight not to be. It is not possible for the sight not to be. Kitne bhi mehnat karo, you can't grow out of the fact that you are a seer. You can't transcend your nature. We can transcend wrong notions about us. I can transcend my thinking about myself, but I can't transcend my nature. Wave can transcend its thinking that I am a wave, but wave cannot transcend its nature of being water. That is why Bhagavan says, Yada swapit, yada swapit, yada sampanno bhavati. Ikshate. Okay, let us complete it. Na. Because the source is conscious, na. The source of the universe is not the inert. Inert may be postulated by Sankhya school. It is postulated, for your information, the inert as the source is postulated by Sankhya. The inert atoms are postulated by the Nayayikas. And Shunyam is postulated by Buddhists, because Shunyam also is inert. There is no such a thing called Shunyam. Anyway, the Shunyam is postulated by Buddhists. The inert is postulated by a layman. The inert is postulated by science. The inert is postulated by everyone except Bhagavan. Except Bhagavan, except the Shastra. Everybody postulates. The inert comes from the inert. There is no. Ikshate, because the source saw, na, the inert is not the source of the world. Why? Ashabdam. Ashabdam. There is nowhere any mention of the inert as the source of the universe in the Shabda Pramanam. The Shastram, which is the Pramanam in the matter of the source of the universe, that Shastram does not make a mention of the inert being the source of the universe anywhere. Inert is a part of creation. Inert is not the nature of the source. Ikshate na ashabdam. This is the meaning of the sutra. You are able to follow? The source being the seer, the source cannot be the inert. Why? Because the inert as the source is nowhere mentioned in the Shastram. Yeah. There is nothing more in it. And there are so many nuances and nuances and nuances, and you will get tired. Therefore, this much is enough. Next sutra. Gaunaschet. Gaunaschennam. Atma Shabdat. Gaunaschennam. Atma Shabdat. Today you understand the meaning of the word Gauna. Gauna means always secondary, as though. You are sarcastically or figuratively when you say something, that is called Gauna. Bas aa gaya Pradhan Mantri. Supposing, sarcastically. What is this? Gauna. Whether you call it as Vyangyam or Gunasamyam, it is Gauna. A lion-like man comes, then what do you say? Sher aa gaya. That is called Gauna. He is not actually Sher, ji kuch nahi hai. A lion-like man. Supposing somebody brings prasadam, it is not prasadam, it is the same food. Mukhyartha of prasad is prasannata. If you are peaceful inside, that is prasada. That is the mukhyartha. Where is the gaunartha? Prasada. Anything that you receive with a gift from God, that is prasada. It's all gauna. Gauna. Now the Purvapakshi tries to make us believe that when the Shastra says the source saw and created, and that the source saw is not true, literally true, maybe just figurative expressions. Like, sometimes we attribute motives to inert things. Listen to it very carefully, otherwise you are not going to follow it. इतना आसान नहीं है. छोटी छोटी बातें, लेकिन छोटी छोटी बातों को हम थोड़ी सुनते हैं. हम सुनते ही नहीं हैं. हम तो केवल सुनाते हैं. If the tree, all the time moving like this, we can attribute a motive to it. ये गिरना चाहती है. It wants to fall down. Do say that. Expressions are there in the literature. The mountain is overlooking the sea. We say, oh, it is overlooking the sea. Overlooking the sea. It oversees the boats and the ships coming. We attribute motives. When we attribute motives, and a bank, the kolam pipati shati. Kolam pipati shati. Shankaracharya uses this particular analogy. The bank is slipping and falling, river bank is slipping and falling, landslide, slipping and falling. Kolam pipati shati, it wants to fall. So we are attributing a motive to the inert thing. Attributing a motive to the inert thing is nothing but attributing consciousness to an inert thing, but as a figurative expression. In the same manner, maybe Shastram, using a figurative expression, maybe it says in a figurative way that the source saw. Not literally saw, it is like the tree wants to fall. The tree wants to fall. The tree wants to fall. the mountain overseas. These are all just figurative expressions. In the same manner, the source as though saw. Can we not say like that? This very expression, this very statement that the source saw doesn't establish that it is consciousness by nature. Maybe, when the Shruti said it saw, maybe it is being more figurative than literal. It is being more figurative. When we say the tree wants to fall, I am being figurative, not literal. Because literally the tree cannot want to fall. Because it is inert. Or the mountain is inert. It can't want to oversee the movements of the ships. So I can use this. Maybe the Shastra also took fancy to using the figurative expressions. Maybe it tried to be more poetic. The source saw and created. Maybe it's not its nature. Why not we say that? If this is the very big argument, yes, because literature allows this argument. Expressions are governed by the rules of literature. There are something called figurative expressions. Sometimes you also say something, very serious thing you say to something, say something to somebody, and then that person takes exception. And then, maine aise mazak mein kaha. And then he is alright. Yes, mazak mein, maine aise mazak mein kaha. Otherwise he would take you to Tihar. Yes, he can take you to Supreme Court here, manhani, something like that. You have to say, maine aise. Just say it, mazak mein kaha. Ho jata hai. Similarly, just as we say things mazak mein, Shastra also said as a figurative expression. The source. If this is the argument, sir, no, you are wrong. Atma Shabdat. The source of the universe is also described as Atma, the subject. And the word Atma means always Chetanam. Atma Shabda does not have the connotation of being inert. Atma is always Chetanam. Atma is Swarupam. It has a lot of nuances. I will try to explain patiently here, thoda. इस क्लास में कुछ, नेक्स्ट क्लास में कुछ बताएंगे. The word Atma doesn't allow you to interpret it in the sense of the matter, in the sense of inert, etupakkai. The word Atma Shabda means Chaitanya, the one who is, everything else is Anatma, inert. The observer is Atma, the one who is the seer is Anatma. I cannot really interpret this body as Atma. Nothing, even thoughts cannot be interpreted to mean Atma, it is Anatma. Only the seer, the drashta is Atma. This is one thing. And Atma Shabda also means the Swarupam. Swarupam means the nature. Supposing the table is there, is a creation. The actual nature of the table is wood within this context of creation. It is viewed table, but it is wood. That is its Swarupam. And the Swarupam is called Atma. Atma Shabda carries two connotations. Number one, Chaitanya. Number two, Swarupa. Number one, Chaitanya. Number two, the actuality. The actuality. But these two connotations don't contradict each other. these two connotations don't contradict each other. Because even though the tables to begin with its swarup is wood, but that is not the fundamental swarup. The fundamental swarup is Chetanam. It is a part of creation. Wood is a part of creation. Wood is matter. And to be matter is not the swarup of matter. Chetanam is the swarup of matter. Therefore, Atma Shabda, you must dwell on Atma Shabda to understand these two connotations. Number one, Chetanam. Number two, Swarupa. Why not we say that matter is the Swarupa? No. Why? Because if matter is the Swarupam of matter, it should not allow me to look beyond matter. Where the very thinking should resolve. It should not allow me to search, it should make me complete. Completeness is the nature of Swarupa. I should not be able to make the search beyond Swarupa. That is the Swarupa. Swarupa resolves my search. Are you able to follow? Swarupa resolves my search. If I am stuck with matter and I am still searching, that means matter is not the Swarupa. Swarupa means, the fundamental actuality of everything. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, बहुत बड़ी बात है. This matter is the nature. I am just touching it. I am living with it. Oh my God, I am so much rooted in matter and still I am struggling. That means matter is not the Swarupa. Therefore, the Swarupam has to be, the fundamental actuality of everything should be really Chaitanya. Chaitanya. Body cannot be the Swarupam, matter cannot be the Swarupam, even mind cannot be the Swarupam, because even if mind is the Swarupam, then being endowed with the mind, I should not search. We can't say I have a mind, therefore I am peaceful. ऐसा कोई बोलता ही नहीं है. मेरा दिमाग खराब है. That is how the day begins. And nobody begins with the day with I have a mind and I have a lot of ananda. It's almost like saying there is a snake in my bedroom, I am very peaceful. ये तो कभी होगा ही नहीं. Life begins with like this. ये भगवान क्या करूं? Therefore, quickly pick up these two. Atma Shabda means Chetanam and Swarupam, and that Atma Shabda is used as a synonym for the source is described as Atma. Where you can hear that. Sadeva saumidamagrasi dekamevadvitiyam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi. Before the creation there was only the Sat, the source, and that source saw and created all the five elements, etc. And that source is Atma, and that Atma Swarupam is yourself. Hey Shvetaketo Tatu Tvamasi, even now you are that. Meaning what? Your idea that I am not, that is Adhyasa. The idea that I am Deha is Adhyasa. The idea that the Sat is away is Adhyasa. The idea that I am non-eternal is Adhyasa. The idea that I am flesh and bone is Adhyasa. Therefore the whole Srishti is in the form of Adhyasa. A bhranti in the truth. And therefore, the because the word Atma is used along with this the source, it can never be interpreted even figuratively to mean matter. Therefore, Gaunaschainatma Shabdat Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. ठीक है जी. These are all great unfoldments. आराम से देखेंगे.